Hi,
Hello, good
friend.
morning. How are we?
I feel pretty good today.
Good.
How are you?
I'm very excited about our first story.
Yes, I have been thinking about the one I want to share as my first, and I was nice to relive this memory actually. Like when
Good.
I was putting together my stories and thinking about the ones I want to share, bringing this memory back up made me feel like happy because I'm actually, s- still in living that today. So, anyways.
Tell me.
How should we start? Should you start?
You
Should I
go, you
start?
go.
I'll start.
I want
Okay.
to hear.
So this happened before I I live in a town that I very, very much love. It's just full of people who are just kind and sweet and into like magical things
Yeah.
to say the least. Uh so I moved here like in 2015.
Okay.
And but prior to moving to this cute magical town, I lived in the city. So I'm in Northern California. So I lived in San Francisco, but I knew that I wanted to live where there was more trees. Like I had been saying that for, in my mind so long, and I would be driving to this part of Northern California like every weekend to walk my dogs because I knew that I just really was at a place in my life. I just knew I needed to be out of the city and surrounded by trees. And so one day on my Facebook, I remember seeing like this little snippet from Shel Silverstein, and it is in fact actually one of my favorite books, and it's a quote that I love. So I didn't even put any caption to it. I just took a picture of it and posted it. Um, and I'm not going to tell you what that quote is yet because I will bring it up later. Um, I posted it, didn't think about it for a while. But since I was already putting that out into the universe, um, it actually just happened that there was a place available to rent in this little town that I always thought would be really cute to live in. And to be honest, like where I was living in the city, I um I actually even financially needed to get out. Like
Mm.
I owned that place, but I already was feeling like it's really hard for me to keep this up. I think I'd rather rent it out because I don't really feel I can keep up with it. I want to move
Mm.
somewhere else where I want to live anyway. But then this listing came about and I thought, oh my gosh, I got to go check it out. I'm gonna go. So I went to go check it out and it was a beautiful place. And I thought, oh, there's so many people coming to look at it. I didn't think that it was like, why would he pick me? But it turned out that so many people were turned off by the fact that it was a short-term lease.
Mm.
So I was thought, I don't care, like I'll take it. And so despite all the people that were coming to look at it, I was the one who got the place. So short-term lease, meaning like it was at most a 6-month lease.
Right.
So I took it. He didn't care that I had 4 dogs, which is another great thing. So I moved in and I remember looking out the window where in the window I can see like 4 redwood trees. And they call that like a fairy circle when redwood trees grow in a circle. And interestingly enough, I was on my computer working and I had just officially moved in. So I was like, this is the day that I can officially say I live here. And interestingly enough, on my Facebook memory, I see that Shel Silverstein post that I did. And Fran, if you want to look at it, I put it in WhatsApp on
Okay.
the day that I moved in. And I want you to look at it first because I want to tell you why it's so crazy.
Yes. So
The
I'm gonna
quote
read it.
Shel Silverstein.
Yes,
It's
it
from the
says
book Where the Sidewalk Ends.
treehouse, a treehouse. Oop. A treehouse, a free house, a secret you and me house, a high up in the leafy branches, cozy as can be house, Shel Silverstein, where the sidewalk ends.
Now, here's why this is amazing, because um, that showed up on the day that I officially moved in, and I learned from the owner and then the first neighbor that I met that the neighborhood called this house the tree house because of the way it's built, because it's stacked and the way that it is surrounded by redwood trees that the neighborhood called it,
The
oh,
tree
that's the
house.
tree house.
That's so cute
That
and cool.
happened to be shared on my Facebook memory on the exact day that I officially moved in. Like had just loaded in my last set of boxes and stuff.
Yes. That's
And I didn't
amazing.
even
That's
remember that I posted that. It only came to my back to my memory because it showed up as a Facebook memory.
yes. That's a really cool story. Very cool.
Thank you, Fran, for allowing me to remember it again and relive it because of course every time you relive it, you feel it in your
I
spirit, in
know.
your soul,
Yes.
and you have
Yes.
again.
Every time you relive it and every time you tell it to me, then it's like a, magnifying of the story and it's just exciting.
Yeah. So now I'm excited to hear your story.
Well, I'm going to tell you about a house as well.
Oh, fun.
My story is
That's fun that
way
our both relate to our houses.
well, my story is way shorter because it's well, you're gonna hear. So this was 3 years ago, and we were at the time we were living in Mallorca, which is in Spain, and it was in the summer, and we were living in a three-story building, and we were living in an apartment on the top floor, and we had a balcony. And in the summer, it gets really hot in Mallorca. And if you've ever lived in a building on the top floor, you know that the top floor is always the hottest in the building
Oh,
because
yes.
it's under the roof. So we were like, oh, this is so hot. And the dogs were, I don't want to say suffering because we had ventilation everywhere, but it wasn't nice for the dogs either. So every day at about 11, we would have to go around the apartment and close all the windows and close all the curtains so it doesn't get too hot.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, often I was like, oh, I wish we had a garden where you can just sit outside a bit longer and you get a fresher breeze and you can sit in the shade and whatever. So one day we were sitting, my dog and I, Chopstick, we were sitting on the balcony and it was about 11 o'clock again. And I and 11 o'clock was about the time when we had to come in and close everything, shut everything off. So I said to him, Chopstick, we're gonna find an apartment, or no, not an apartment. We're gonna find a house with a garden because I'm really sick of this heat up here. I just want a nice garden. 1 minute later, I'm not kidding. 1 minute later, I get a WhatsApp from a acquaintance, I would say. I wouldn't say she was a friend. I knew her from dog rescue. And she sent me a voice message saying, "Oh, I'm pregnant, and there is a bit of like medical difficulties, so we have to move back to Germany. Would you want to live in our house rent-free from August till December? Because we have paid for that time anyway. We had to
Oh,
rent it for
wow.
like 2 years or whatever. So, and we still have some furniture and stuff there. And so you would live there rent free. You just have to pack up our furniture before you move out and send it to Germany." And I was like, okay. I can do that. I'm really extremely good at moving because I've done it so many times and I love moving. So they had someone who really did basically the move on their part, on the Mallorca part. And we had a house rent free for 4 months.
Oh,
And
wow.
I sent you the go check out the photos.
I can't believe that you are actually able to get it rent free too.
I know.
Like the kind of place you want to live, but also
Yep.
for free. Here, I'm gonna go look at the pictures
Go look
now.
at the pictures. It wasn't just a garden.
Wow. There's
Yeah,
also there's a nice pool.
there was a nice pool
It looked
as
like a
well.
pretty nice size house.
It's a finca, which means it's like a country house, basically.
Uh-huh.
So it came with a huge plot, huge, huge.
This grassy part with the sunset is also part of the property.
Yeah, it had
Wow.
kind of like a grassy garden type of area,
Uh-huh.
which you see in the photos, and
Uh-huh.
a pool house, which had two more rooms, bedrooms, and a little bathroom. And then it had a huge kind of field in the back because they have to have some agriculture. They have to grow
Oh,
something.
as being a finca, sure.
Yeah,
And how long, I forgot what you said. How long did you get to live there?
4 months.
Oh,
So August till December. It was so cool. It was
that
just the
that sounds
way it came. It was so like 1 minute after I said to my dog, we're gonna find a house with a garden. And then also just the fact that I love moving. I really love organizing the things. And it was like the
like
universe
that's the
was like,
only price you had to pay, and it's something that you love to do anyway.
yeah, exactly. It was perfect. It was so cool. We had a really good time. We drank a lot of gin and tonic by the pool. Yes. So I think those were really cool manifesting stories for today. And
That's a fun way to start, and it's so funny that both of our choices have to do
with the
with where we
host.
live. But where
Yeah.
we live is actually means so much to us, our
Yes.
home.
Yes.
But I will give you for a preview on our next one. My story is very interesting because I mean it ties into a little bit to your story. So I have a continuing saga to my treehouse story that needs to be
Oh,
the second half because it's relates to the first.
oh, okay, okay. Oh, I'm very excited. Okay. Then we will have to wait and see what that is. And I'm very curious. So I see you next time.
Okay, Fran.
Bye.
Thank you for the good energy, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.
See you soon. Bye.